Hello YouTube. Welcome to the next exciting installment of the Foley for music, making a track out of sounds recorded on a microphone into a cassette recorder or whatever. Welcome to the next installment of that. What I've been doing lately is chopping up some sounds that I recorded into a tape recorder and also into a digital recorder. At one point I thought that the sounds that I recorded into the digital recorder would be the only usable ones, and that the sounds that I recorded into the tape recorder were just going to be hidden behind a wall of hiss and unusable. It turned out that I've mainly used the sounds that came from the cassette recorder and not the digital recorder, and only a few of the digital recorder sounds. It just felt to me like when I was editing sounds that the ones I recorded through the digital recorder sounded too clean somehow and didn't really work. I don't know if I was right about that or wrong. It may turn out they were fine, but I stuck with the ones through the cassette recorder. What I did do, however, was the cassette recordings got run through an effect type setting, not an effect so much. They called them all effects, but it was an audio, if you like, cleaning kind of process. So I can't show you me doing that right now because of my interesting setup of how I get things through a microphone and out to being able to record them in this YouTube video. But anyway, what I did was, if I can find the thing in here, I put it through noise reduction. I don't have a file to do that to at the moment, but I can probably demonstrate it. It wasn't my intention when I started doing this video, but now I've gone off onto this sidetrack. I better do it. So here's a video. Here's a bit of audio going in when it finally loads up. And there's a noisy bit. So I think if I go effect, noise reduction, get noise profile, okay with that, then I go select all, and then I go effect, and then I go noise reduction. Don't know what those settings are, just going with it, and it runs through. And you'll see, hopefully, the bits where it's a bit noisy get quieter. I'm pointing at one with my mouse. There you go. So that was a lot of background hiss, and now it isn't so much so. So what I've ended up with is a digitally enhanced tape recording to make it somewhat less noisy. But it is noisier still, and it's kind of filtered a bit, and that seemed to work better for me in terms of, to my ear, sounded like the little percussive clips that I took out of the audio were somewhat more electronic sounding, perhaps, which is what I kind of wanted. I kind of wanted to get sounds from the real world, put them through the computer, and have kind of like a palette of digital percussion coming out of it somehow, if that makes any sense. So that's what I did there. Now the purpose of this video, which I probably should have said from the offset, is just to share the end results of clipping bits out of the recordings and getting them into separate WAV files. So just to demonstrate that, I've managed to set up something where I can get audio through the microphone. I'm not exactly very high-tech at this YouTube stuff at this moment in time, but I get audio in through a microphone, hence I'm able to record this video, and at the same time I can also pipe audio from something that selects these sounds and puts them out to the world. But anyway, what I've got here is the Orca sequencing application, which is what I'm going to be using to make the masterpiece that comes out of all of this. And all I've done at the moment, though, I'm going to ignore all of this little bit here for now, and just, I think, mostly ignore that anyway. And I'm just going to play through something that plays through the audio samples that I've put into, that I've managed to grab and just play them back in a bit of a sequence. At the moment, I don't want to mislead here, so Orca is not, just to explain what Orca is doing, it's just a MIDI sequencer, although an unusual one, an extremely versatile one, and I'm sending MIDI from this Orca just to go through the individual hits that I've sampled, and I've loaded those into something in Max MSP. You don't need all this technology to make music with little snippets of samples, but it is at my disposal, so you know, it's inexpensive relatively. Orca itself is a free application, and it's very clever, and there's a lot to learn in that. Max MSP, not so cheap, but I pay for it on a monthly subscription, about £12 a month, and you know, I've come to find it's very useful for a lot of things, and I've got another project for another day that's kind of running through Max. So, I mean, just to elaborate a bit, you can see Max. I've got my audio from a microphone. That's what you're seeing here, is going through Max and outputting. And here there's a sample-based module which has been not long released in Max, called SFizz, and within that, each of my individual samples is currently loaded. I'm going to hopefully do a bit more with SFizz when I get on with this, but you see here that, you know, p3.wav is being triggered by key 33, for example, which is a note, and so anyway, I'm gonna without going into too much detail, I'm just going to try and scroll through the sounds via Orca in this little setup, just so that you can hear them. So I'll just set that going 1 second. Right. Okay, I mean, some of these sounds will have repeated. You won't kind of get them too clearly separated out. I don't even know if I've captured all of them, but that's the kind of little sounds I've got. Some sounds that I skipped off from this bit because if I play them, they go on for too long, but that are also loaded in. I can kind of demonstrate. I think, let me just see here. So I've got, and if I put, let me work this one out. Well, what if I put W in there? That's probably not it. Then it's interesting. It's great for sequencing. Well, I don't know if that came over on the mic, but there was a massive crash in the kitchen. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me just mess about with this. What's in position W, I wonder? I think I might have had a longer sample in there. Just let me try that. 1 second. Oh, nothing. What about O? No. Yeah. Ah, haha. Sorry, I'd actually stopped the sequence. God, this is clever of me. Okay, right. Let's put, what can I do with this? And just try something. Throw D in there. What's in there? It's gonna be a fun part of the video. What O's nothing exciting. It's not one of those sounds I was talking about. What's in P? No. Q. No. B. U. I think that's quite a W. Oh, okay. What I'm going to do, abandon that for a second and try going up to octave 3 and bring an A. What's that? Nothing in there. It's a world of discovery for me. Okay, something there. G. Okay, that's weird. Now I know when I was doing this before, I was managing to get sounds I didn't want because they were the longer sounds. Just put the count back on. See, let's count up to Z. Oh no, somebody's been shouted for their dinner. This is going to be a great video. Okay, and then I've got to. Okay, there's one of the longer sounds that I was looking for as an example. I've got to get cleverer at maybe demonstrating these things individually as samples, but this is all a work in progress over this YouTube stuff. So yeah, this one goes on for ages and I didn't want to keep triggering it, but I've got a couple of sounds like that. There's some more bits and bobs. So the next thing in this whole process, just a second, I'm just going to try something, control backslash, yeah. So the next thing in this process is how long has this video been going on for? I can't see a time on it. Maybe I'll edit it down, but maybe I can't be bothered because that's going to take me too much time. Right, so see, does that do anything? Here we've got something. Well, that's just an example of some samples loaded up and playing back in some semblance of something rhythmic. It's a start. I'm going to see what I can do with this and come up with hopefully a creation. I think it's important perhaps in this day and age to try and get what you create out into the world, hopefully, no matter how small your audience might be. We're all kind of on the brink of potential destruction, it feels like at the moment. We've got a comet headed towards us in 2032. I don't know, world events seem like we might push ourselves closer to war. What's the other threat? AI. Google's quantum computer is communicating with parallel dimensions and perhaps plotting its its uh, its scheme for our eventual demise. So how long have we got left? Who can say? But while we are on this planet and we do have the ability to do so, perhaps if we feel the urge to at least create something, perhaps we should try and push that forward. And in my case, and I think this may be the way it is for many people, I think we should. What was I going to say? We should stop our tendency to letting perfection prevent us from just creating something, anything at all. I know I kind of have this notion in my head of some kind of sound thing I might create, perhaps based on the work of other people that I admire, and I kind of wish that I could just make a piece of music, like the great bits of electronic music that I love that are out there. But perhaps I never will. Perhaps I will get a bit closer to it. But while I can, I think I should just try and create something and put it out there. See what it is. In some way, it will at least perhaps be something that's unique to me, or unique coming from me, and may have some merits to it. But then essentially, what does it matter? Perhaps it's all down to taste, and who's to say what's good and what's bad, and who's wrong and who's right. I just don't know. And that's it. That's a good thing anyway. So yep, that's whatever stage this is. Is it stage 3 of this project? I think what I may do is try and get these samples out to make them available to people in something like a pack on Bandcamp or something, and then at the same time try and release this track and show this track. I think that's got to be the next part of the story, basically the end result. So okay, I'll sign off now, and check this out. Check out the next one if you're interested to find out what I actually do. I have to admit, I kind of am myself. Okay, thanks all. Makes it sound like there's many, but thanks whoever. Cheerio, bye.